Hey guys, Zane here with another One Take review, and today I wanted to talk about the Birthday Party's Prayers on Fire. Prayers on Fire is considered by a lot of people to be not only the Birthday Party's best work, but one of Nick Cave's best works in general across all of his many different projects over the years, and I heavily disagree with that sentiment. Now, first of all, I'm a massive fan of the Bad Seeds, and I would consider them to be one of my favorite bands, as they have released some of my favorite albums, especially Let Love In. But beyond that, I still like Grinderman, I still like The Boys Next Door, and generally speaking, I've liked everything Nick Cave has been involved with except The Birthday Party. I've never truly understood the appeal to them, and I've definitely never understood the cult status that they've gained over the years since they debuted, and Prayers on Fire is a major example of why that is. Anyone who's familiar with Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, especially their first few albums, will maybe recognize Prayers on Fire as I do, as a sort of sloppily thrown together version of the raw, noisy punk blues that was found on albums like From Her to Eternity, as well as, even to some extent, Tender Prey and The Firstborn is Dead. It's that particular sound that defined the early years of the Bad Seeds, as well as their first several albums, which is something that I greatly enjoyed personally, even if a lot of people understandably didn't care for it much in comparison to later works from Cave and Co. But at the same time, I just think that the Birthday Party are the unpracticed version of it. When I say that they sound sloppy and unprofessional, and not even the good way here, I truly mean it. There's a difference between sounding like a very raw, energetic band and sounding like a group of teenagers coming together to mash around their instruments for a while and hope they came up with something dissonant but enjoyable, and more often than not, Prayers on Fire leans towards the latter category. This is what the Misfits would have sounded like if they had discovered extra cocaine and listened to Hostel instead of Plan 9 from Outer Space, and as awesome as that sounds on paper, it ultimately fails to work in any way that it really should. Now imagine said band only meets every other week to practice for like 10 to 20 minutes straight, and then they're just done, that's it, they go home. That's about what the Birthday Party sound like here, and I don't mind unpracticed sounding music, obviously. I mean, punk is a great genre that has built itself on not sounding traditionally good. But at the same time, I do ask for you to at least kind of sound like you know what you're doing, or you're at least slightly self aware of your lack of musical complexity. And the Birthday Party just truly don't seem to sound like they know what they're doing here. Later Cave albums with similar concepts would be based around very sinister and atmospheric sounding songs, especially tracks like the very infamous Leonard Cohen cover that they did of Avalanche. But this is just the very unlikable, stripped down version of that sound, and it's a good thing that they perfected it more later on. Otherwise, this would have been a string of truly god awful albums of this particular style. Instrumentally, Prayers on Fire ranges from mediocre to downright horrible, with it never really even reaching average, if I'm being honest. This largely can be credited to guitarist Roland Hallard and Mick Harvey for delivering what is maybe childlike would be the best term to describe it, and while I do understand what the musicians were going for in that very psychotic, sort of just unrestrained sound on the guitar, it does make songs like Capers go from bad to downright laughable in or out of the context of the album. Ironically enough, some tracks here, though they are few and far between, like Figure of Fun, are actually they actually have some decent bass and drum work on them. I didn't want to say anything super positive about this record because I truly dislike it, but the bass and drumming on here are actually not bad at times, and it's just hilarious that it comes from the same band overall. It just does not sound like the same band over the course of this entire record. It goes from between sounding alright, I guess, to sounding genuinely atrocious, and it's just like the band can never make up their mind, but for the most part they sound horrible here. I mean, I suppose that Prayers on Fire could have been much worse instrumentally. There are definitely bands like The Germs that were significantly worse in terms of instrumentation and technical ability, but at the same time, it could have been much better, and frankly, Prayers on Fire isn't even performed half decently. Although he's undoubtedly one of my favorite frontmen of all time with his work from, again, The Boys Next Door, The Bad Seeds, and Grinderman, I honestly think that Nick Cave sounds just terrible here. Although I do love his more high-energy moments in those aforementioned groups, I still do think that Prayers on Fire is this sort of obnoxiously cartoonish self-parody at some points. The reason that songs from the Bad Seeds, like Loverman or Thirsty Dog, songs from the Boys Next Door, like Boy Here, work so well with a similar performance style is that they feel more serious and dead set on accomplishing something that, varies from song to song, obviously. Whereas his performance on Prayers on Fire, Cave just sounds like he's almost making a joke out of himself and his own performance style, even though he's obviously not in reality, but it just feels like that in the way that he delivers each line. It could also certainly be said that Cave is sort of performing in a way that is maybe a send-up of classic punk frontmen like Iggy Pop, but unlike people like Iggy Pop, Nick Cave really lacks any charm or direct engagement with the listener on Prayers on Fire. Songs like Zoo Music Girl and even the supposed classic that is Nick the Stripper just feel uninspired in terms of actual performance, even with all of the chaos that Cave brings to the table, and it may be some of his worst performance work overall, as he's annoying at best and downright god-awful at worst, and it's truly a shame because it just completely fails to highlight the abilities that he would demonstrate only a few years later or a couple of years before with other different groups. And the worst part about Prayers on Fire and the Birthday Party as a whole is the fact that the songwriting here is actually really good. While Cave would undeniably evolve into a more matured and sophisticated and generally more talented songwriter as time went on, as anyone would, I still do think that songs here like King Ink prove the fact that Cave was capable of delivering beautifully disturbing, twisted, at times cryptic lyricism that would go on to define his career and are already pretty excellent here, that they just so happen to be backed by terrible instrumentals as well as I would say, lackluster performance from him at best. The track A Dead Song even features some lyrical compositions from the longtime Nick Cave collaborator, the ever underrated Anita Lane, who is unfortunately no longer with us. And again, she delivers some excellent lyricism on that track, and generally speaking, the entirety of Prayers on Fire is written extremely well, albeit with a couple missteps here or there, but nonetheless, when you compare the songwriting to the instrumentation and overall performances, it's basically like comparing gold to a mud pie. It just is truly a shocking difference in quality. It really is a shame that the Birthday Party's work on Prayers on Fire feels like the musical equivalent of being beaten in the head with a metal pipe, and not in a good way either, because lyrically, based off of songwriting here alone, this could have been one of Cave's best works in his early years, as well as the entirety of the Birthday Party in general. Overall, if I'm being honest, I don't really understand what draws people to the Birthday Party and their sound. The performances are rough at best, Cave is at his most obnoxiously in-your-face, and there's very few redeeming qualities here besides the songwriting. And even with some excellent lyricism here, there's much better lyricism in later, much better Nick Cave albums. From much better bands, nonetheless. Who knows, maybe one day I'll get the appeal of this band and they'll just, they'll finally just click with me, and I'll get them, and I'll like them, and I'll do a redux on this video, and probably positively review other Birthday Party stuff. But as it stands, as I upload this video, today is not that day. I still just absolutely despise this band, and I think that it's a very large blemish on Nick Cave's otherwise pretty perfect career, which is why I'm giving Prayers on Fire 1.5 stars out of 5. It's just a sloppy, underplayed, just terrible mess. It's truly just an atrocious record overall that really has nothing going for it, again, beyond songwriting that would be bettered immediately after this album came out. So I have nothing more to say about this. 1.5 stars out of 5. And with that being said, that's the end of this review, and I'll see you guys in the next one.